in a morning meditation class, there was this focus on how if someone says something to you that isn't sweet, maybe you were being sweet towards them, or and then they were not sweet towards you, that it's just best to stay in silence. It's just best to stay in silence. And that by staying in silence, you become this sort of character called Kalangidar. And like that's the character of Krishna with a peacock feather. Because no matter what someone's kind of saying about you, no matter what someone's trying to dump on you, you'll just come out smelling like roses if you just stay quiet, And it's not even just for the cameras, it's also for myself, right? Like I want to come out smelling like roses for myself as well. And so I stay quiet. And it's not about like suppressing it either. I can say in my internal dialogue, I don't like what that person said to me. And I can sit in that emotion, and just kind of be with that. And then it's like it hasn't accumulated. It's like it's been transmuted into something, lifted back into levity, This reminds me of this experience I had a few days ago where I think for the first time in my life, I experienced that, like sitting with a negative emotion. And I was remembering something that happened 4 or 5 years ago. Like it was ridiculous. Just a little scene with someone I didn't even know was on the bus, and he just kind of nudged my shoulder, but I knew it was aggressive. It was on purpose. And it's something that has obviously stayed with me for so long. And then I just remembered it while watching a scene of a television show because one character nudged the shoulder of another. And I was just able to kind of sit with that emotion. And I haven't been able to do that in the past. Usually it's like running, right? Wanting to run away. Gemini in the 4th house. And my Mercury's not very well aspected in the 8th house. So, it speaks to that. But for some reason this time I felt it. And I was kind of talking to myself like, yeah, I don't like how that feels. And I don't like that person. It's good not to judge people, but it wasn't about judging. It was just about processing it. Like, I don't like that. And I don't like he did this thing to me. I don't like him. But then after that, it was like that emotion, that heaviness, that darkness that I thought was just so dark. It dissipated. And now when I remember that memory, all of those emotions that were like charged up in it, they're not there anymore. I think I could say that, not that I do like the guy, I don't know the guy, but I feel like if I had to see him again, or even just thinking about him in my mind's eye, I don't feel negative towards him. And I think that's so cool. Right? In a way, I guess it's a forgiveness, but it's not actually about him, so I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's more of a coming to terms with something in myself through that scene. And so just that little bit of burden that I've been carrying around for the past 5 years through that specific scene has dissipated. I'm really happy for that. And I don't think that would have been possible if I hadn't have been practicing remembering, taking traffic stops is what they're called in Raj Yoga, and remembering myself, and then remembering God according to who I know him to be, and just kind of remembering these different forms of I, the soul, remembering these beautiful virtues and powers of I, the soul, just remembering them throughout the day. I think I did it maybe 7 times that day, and it was literally like a 30-second, 40-second thing. And I think somehow that helped me with that. So that was cool, and I'm really happy for it. I'm very fortunate for it. But I haven't been able to replicate it, but that's the thing. None of this stuff can be forced, right? It's over time that's another thing from the Raj Yoga meditation. Things happen over time, and if I want to create a powerful stage for myself, it's got to happen, be developed over time, over a long period of time. So that was cool. I'm appreciative for that. Something else that was shared in that interview with Jennifer Aniston and Quinta Brunson, they were speaking about tolerance. They were speaking about how, with like the show that Jennifer Aniston is currently on, it's called like something morning show, something like this. And there's this scene where John Hamm, I think she's like dating him or something, and he's a billionaire. And she's like co-host on a morning show or something like this. Okay. The man who's serving them, like, preparing their food and about to give it to them, they're at some sort of stall, I think. He is being really, really rude towards her. And John Hamm, also being a billionaire and a man, and he's like a good-looking dude. John Hamm, he's big, etc. So I don't think he's used to people treating him in such a way, and he wants to kind of stand up for Jennifer Aniston. I'm not sure exactly what happens, but after that scene, Jennifer Aniston is just, her character is explaining to him that it's okay, it's not worth it. That's what happens. She becomes the punching bag for people, for men, who are, but also people, but she was saying men who are stressed in their relationships, they can't say it to their girlfriend, they can't say it to their wives, and so they say it to her. And that was interesting because Quinta was saying that when she watched that scene of the show, she felt really seen, and she rarely feels seen. And I thought that was really cool too, because that's something that I'm relearning, that beautiful tolerance power, when people will say something to you that it's not about you, it's about something else, someone else, and just being able to keep quiet and recognize that it's not about you and not like really taking on that burden. I thought that was a lovely thing that they shared as well, and again, how we're always saying tolerance, power, and love, they're two hats of the same coin. Can't have love without tolerance, can't have tolerance without love. So I thought that was incredible and mature and real and deep and sweet. There's a real strength in a person who's able to be like that, and many souls are in our world, so many. That's power, right? I could feel that they had such a love and eagerness about their own careers and exploration. It was sweet, that kind of playfulness is there. Yeah, I guess speaking sweetly is about speaking from the heart. I think that's what speaking sweetly is. Yeah, it's speaking in a way that it's not about my ego, it's not about, I don't know, any of these things, right? It's simply being and sharing from the heart. Sharing from where you're at, sharing from where you're at when you're at I'm not even sure what, but like sharing from some sort of loveliness or beauty inside of the soul. And I think it can also be that kind of unassuming beauty that's natural and kind of blossoms out of one when they're speaking, because they're content. There's a humility, almost like a kind of innocence, like for instance, someone who, let's say, is very well regarded and has done a lot for a community or something, when there's that kind of humility, there can be a bit of an innocence about the effect, maybe, that what they do has on others, but in a positive way. Like they don't think about, oh, I'm that person. It's more like, oh, I'm happy that, you found value in whatever it is that I was doing at that time, I think the connecting point between all of these different story pieces is that speaking sweetly, I think people are people who are able to speak sweetly, it's because they're not focused on the other, in that they're not looking outside of themselves for much of anything when it comes to recognition, when it comes to being able to see their own value. They're looking at their own experiences, but like really their own experiences in their craft, in whatever it is that they see as being their craft. Like that's what they're focused on, whatever their aim is in their journey. Even if the aim in the journey is just to walk the journey, for instance, they're both actresses, so maybe, walking the journey of an actress, whatever it is, there's a concentration on that. And so I think it becomes easier to become the punching bag, because there really is such a separation between the experience of that person, specifically that negative experience that they were trying to offload on Jennifer Aniston's character, and Jennifer Aniston's character. There's such a difference, and there's such a feeling internally, which I could feel in the interview between the two, of vibrance, of wanting to explore and create, and maybe create change. Like that's what I was picking off of them in the interview, and I've definitely seen that in Quinta's character Janine on Abbott Elementary. I've never actually watched Jennifer Aniston in this show, but maybe I'll start. But I think that's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, what is that saying? Like, don't be bitter, be better. But like, yeah, there's no room for bitterness when someone's just enjoying their journey and grateful for it and wanting to see what's next. And I think that's kind of where I could feel that sweetness in their conversation. It was kind of what was anchoring that sweetness, is how they're feeling, their own gratitude and appreciation, and it translated in them wanting to uplift each other. It felt like it was very beautiful.